Trey Lance is traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a fourth round pick. Excuse me. Trey Lance was traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a fourth round pick. And let's just go ahead and put the elephant in the room out there, right? We all know that this is now one of the worst NFL trades of all time, is now officially confirmed. And of course, just comes days after losing the QB2 job to Sam Darnold, 3 firsts and a third for just 4 total games, 4 starts, 55% completion, just over 1,000 total yards, 6 total touchdowns from Trey Lance, and 3 interceptions. Now, of course, we want to ask the question, why did Dallas, out of all teams, go for Trey Lance? And you heard me say a lot of this in my short form video I put out earlier right after this news broke. This is what Jerry Jones likes to do, right? Kind of steal the show, but also have some sort of meaning behind it. And I feel like I can actually see this meaning here for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. And look, I told you guys, I've liked Trey Lance. We know he's talented, or at least we like to think he's talented despite the minimal experience. He's got all the chance to still have a bright future in this league. Realistically, he does. Even though he's a mystery, we've seen the flashes, whether it's the size, whether it's the arm strength, whether it's the potential speed, using his body to his advantage to be a big runner. But the health and the experience, as we've always said, has been his downfall. And we know Dak Prescott is a good veteran in this league that can and absolutely will mentor Trey Lance. Almost said Trey Young. It's an amazing value grab for the Cowboys if he pans out at literally the most important position in the NFL, within one of the best offenses in the National Football League as well. And when you take a look at it, Trey Lance was literally set to be the QB3 in San Francisco behind Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy. So that really brings about questions. We understand Brock Purdy, of course, did what he did last year in the Niners system and took them to the NFC Championship game. But Sam damn Darnold is beating him out for the QB2 job, and we'll get into this a little more. So realistically, with Darnold and Purdy, both beating him out for the 1 and 2 job, they would have had to melt in practice. Darnold or Purdy would have had to have been injured or just really start playing horribly in order for Trey Lance to actually get in and get a start. And this could have just led to another meaningless season in Trey Lance's third year. A guy that needs reps, he needs starts, he needs snaps. And, even when you look at this kind of just for a Cowboys standpoint on this as to why they did it before we get into the abomination kind of what the Niners are looking at here, Lance can still be used as possible leverage in the future if/when Dak Prescott decides to start negotiating at the end of this possible coming season, early next one. We know the extension and the contract is going to be up for him. He specifically has a no-tag clause inside of that contract, which means Dallas is going to pay him what he wants, which will easily be the biggest contract in NFL history because he's America's team's quarterback, because of the Dallas Cowboys, how they love to steal the show. Or Dak Prescott will just turn around and walk away as an unrestricted free agent. And we all know that we don't want to see, the Dallas Cowboys do not want to see Dak Prescott walk out of the building. Bruns, what is good, man? So good to see you in here. You're my boy. Good to see you in the chat. But you can even put Trey Lance into this Dallas Cowboys, kind of exquisite offense, one that's not complicated, but it runs like a very well-oiled machine. If they wanted to possibly implement some QB runs into this, or maybe get Trey Lance a little more mobile, a 4th-round pick, the Cowboys kind of really don't have to answer to anybody because they just officially accomplished giving up the least amount of trade capital for a top 5 pick ever. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. Trey Lance was dealt as the number 3 overall pick, was dealt for a 4th-round pick, the least amount of compensation in draft capital that a top 5 pick in the modern NFL era has ever received. And just a little bit on Dak Prescott not being consulted before this move. He said he wasn't shocked. He said he's been in the league for 8 years. As we know, nothing shocks him playing in this league, especially playing for the Dallas Cowboys. And, I wouldn't say Dak's job is in jeopardy. Again, he's been in the league for 8 years. This is a business, and Dak said that. They're probably drafting your replacement the year that they draft you. And definitely, if you've been in the league for 3, 4, 5 years, they're already looking at some other guys in your position. So that was just kind of a blanket move as it is there. So Cowboys, again, they don't really have to answer to anybody. 4th-round pick for the number 3 overall pick at the most important position in football, within one of the most explosive offenses in football. So go figure, right? It's what Jerry Jones does.